Am I the butthole for speaking my coworker's car accident into existence? Hello, my name is Jake. There's a running joke around my office that one of my coworkers, let's call her Peggy, is a terrible driver. Some months back, a few of us were going out to lunch, and Peggy wanted to drive us in her new BMW. This was my first time being driven by Peggy, and my other coworkers were all excited to see my reaction to her driving. Saying things like, haha, I can't wait to see how Jake reacts. I didn't think much of it and assumed they were just exaggerating. But no, this woman is not just a bad driver, she is an extremely dangerous one. She pulls out of the parking lot and immediately accelerates to 60 in a 35 miles per hour speed limit zone. Then she gets on the highway and drives as fast as she can while weaving through cars, constantly shifting lanes, cutting people off, trying to cover every little bit of ground she could. All of this with her phone in her hand so she could read the GPS. It was crazy. Afterwards I was upset, but everyone was laughing at just how bad of driver she was. So I calmed down and had this exchange with her. Peggy, so what did you think of my driving? Me, I think you're going to get into an accident one day. Peggy, nah. I might seem like a bad driver, but I honestly know what I'm doing. Me, that's what all bad drivers think. Peggy, me, I'm serious. You are going to get into an accident. It's not an if, it's a when. It's only a matter of time before you make a mistake on the road or someone around you does something you don't expect. Random coworker 1, Jake, you shouldn't say things like that. Random coworker 2, yeah, that's effed up, Jake. A few months later, Peggy gets into a car accident. She was mostly fine, a few fractures, and her car was totaled. Now a lot of my coworkers are blaming me for speaking it into existence. I don't understand this at all. Do they believe that some force exists in the universe that makes things happen, when you speak about it? This sounds crazy to me. Now it is possible that I saying that caused Peggy to second guess herself and make a mistake while driving. So, am I the butthole? Not the butthole, good God. Are you a wizard or a shaman? Can you hook me up with speaking into existence my winning lottery ticket? How do these people think life works? You issued a warning. You didn't sacrifice a goat and lay a curse on this woman. Her terrible driving is her own fault. Are people really that superstitious? Philip K. Dick once said, reality is that which, when you stop believing in it, doesn't go away. Peggy had an unfortunate clash with reality, and she would have had it anyway. Heck, if you'd heaped praise on her driving style, she might have even crashed sooner. Give me a gigantic break. Not the butthole. Op needs to speak a gigantic break into existence. I don't know if it counts as speaking it into existence when he said it months before it happened. Sounds like everyone is feeling insecure or guilty because they laughed off how reckless Peggy's driving is only for her to crash. As original poster was the only one to caution her, he's the bad guy because his responsible behavior highlights their recklessness. Absolutely this makes a lot of sense. Original poster was right to caution her when she drives the way she does. It's sad to see Peggy doesn't see it herself. Not the butthole. You, my friend, are a friggin' genius. This really sounds like a very astute conclusion. Original poster is not the butthole for being the only one with a sense of responsibility in the matter. Sounds like everyone is feeling insecure or guilty because they laughed off how reckless Peggy's driving is only for her to crash. You've been awarded enough, but I'd give more if I had any to give. This is it exactly. They know damn well that they enabled this behavior. They need someone to blame other than themselves. I'm in Northern Ontario, and back in 11th grade, my dad was driving me to school. I told him I had a bad feeling about the roads and to put it in 4 high, he said we were fine in 2WD. He drops me off, and on the way home, puts it in a snowbank and throws out the alignment. We burned through those tires so fast, and he was not happy when I came home and asked if I could take the truck to go somewhere, and he had to tell me to adjust for the tow being out and explain that it was just unforeseen that he could have been sucked into the snowbank when he drives 60 in a 50 and the roads are slick. My grandparents made sure he wasn't the only one to teach me to drive. But he never wants to hear it when I suggest something for safety while he's driving, and when something I've already mentioned actually becomes an accident, he really does not like it and tries to not acknowledge it. I grew up in Northern Ontario, living in Alberta now. I used to drive around with crappy, all-season tires on my FWD car. This winter, and in my third car because I have sold/traded up, I bought winters for the first time. My God, they make such a massive difference. Not as much snow here, but whiteouts are common and the roads 100% get really icy. When I was in Northern Ontario, I was going to some meetings with my boss. He owned some sort of Mercedes sedan. I don't think it was an AMG, but it was a higher trim model. He had the performance low-profile tires on it and he was driving to these meetings. Then on the way back, I was driving the car, overnight trip, long days. He was a super aggressive driver, I was a bit more reserved. They were 90km/h roads, generally 2-lane, maybe 4 if you were lucky or there was a passing lane. I slowly started to catch up to an 18-wheeler, but was very hesitant to pass him, not my car after all, and when I finally figured it was more than safe, I went to pass. I was used to my tiny 4-cylinder compact, not a large Mercedes sedan with over double the power. This car shot forward, safely mind you, past this transport like it was standing still. I pulled back into the proper lane and looked at the speedometer. I was doing 130 km/h, and I had already been slowing down. Peggy sounds like the type that bought a BMW, treated it like it was an M Sport car on a track day and that everybody else was just obstacles. In absolutely perfect driving conditions, on a track, that can result in an accident. But add in the million variables of public roads than the variables of traffic? What a stupid person. Op is clearly not the butthole. But I do want original poster to start talking about how I will find $42,000 in non-sequential, unmarked 5s, 10s and 20s in a duffel bag in the near future. This was my first thought. The fact that they're legit blaming original poster for Peggy's bad driving is something that really makes me lose a little more faith in people's common sense. Ding ding ding. We have a winner, folks. Agreed, it doesn't count when it took months to occur. I mean, technically it doesn't count anyway. Yeah, from the title I was expecting the accident to take place on the drive back or something. Months later doesn't even imply causality. I once commented, that guy's going to hit someone about a driver that pushed past me once. Driving in some parts of my country can be a mess. 5 seconds later, he did rear-end someone at low speed. I didn't consider that speaking anything into existence. It was a probable conclusion to driving like an idiot. We used to call that an accident looking for a place to happen. Op, speak big titty moth girlfriend into existence, please. How would epping a moth work? You just grab those big titties and go to town. LMFAO. Best giggle I've had all day, and I saw a red-bottomed baboon's long skinny pink penis at the zoo this morning. They really should wear pants, you know. Moth titty. Well, when a mummy moth and a daddy moth love each other very much. Please don't correct this, it's my one desire in life and Op's word is my only chance. Please help me with big titty moth girlfriend / user big Jake to titty effer, Reddit link. I'd like original poster to speak COVID out of existence. Op needs to speak and tell us just how high GameStop will go. Okay, then original poster just needs to speak world peace into existence and he or she will be forgiven. Lol, yeah, he should respond, you will leave me alone and stop saying that. If they do to prove they're right, fine. If they don't, they're wrong and have to drop it anyway. Worst case of misdirected anger I've ever heard of. Not the butthole, original poster. It took several months for the accident to be spoken into existence. That gives just enough time for the lottery jackpot to build up really big before the winning numbers original poster just boom be hit. Thanks, Jake. J/K. Op is actually Jake from State Farm trying to drum up new business. Well, his middle name is Mayhem. Haha. Maybe if she was normally a good driver and Op was just being a sexist ass and then that same afternoon she got into an accident, then maybe I would agree he's the butthole, although it would mostly be for being sexist. But 1, she really is a horrible driver. 2, it's been months since Op said anything. To be fair, he never said he didn't sacrifice a goat. That's still a possibility. Personally, these idiots wouldn't ever hear the end of this crap. I'd be turning the heat up. Oh, I predict the temperature shall rise. I am willing it into existence. Place a cup dangerously in the edge of a table. I shall use my incredible powers to will this cup to the floor. Fear me, mortals. See one of them eating a sandwich. If you eat that sandwich, you won't be as hungry anymore. Come find me if I willed your hunger out of existence. Any simple prediction is now to be described as willing it into existence. Finally apologize to her for her accident and predict that if she keeps resting she will improve pretty quickly. Then you can claim credit for willing her recovery into existence. You'll either annoy them enough they'll go okay, I get your point. Or they'll think you really are a wizard, in which case you can found a cult. This is the way. Op should just own it and start messing with people. You know, Steve, if you keep running down the stairs you're going to have an accident one day and then just stare for a few seconds. Just in case though, Op, could you maybe speak the Rona away from existence? You'd think that if they believed original poster could just speak car accidents into existence that they'd watch what they say around him. Op, can you tell me it's a matter of time before I win the lottery? Op, please tell me that I will wake up tomorrow with millions in my bank. Peggy had an unfortunate clash with reality. You had the opportunity to make a terrific pun. You took the high road. Props to you. I'm a terrible human, lol. Glad she's mostly fine and hopefully she learns to be more careful. Well. I mean, he spoke several breaks into existence with her fractures. But yeah, that's the stupidest thing I've heard in a while. Impressive. Jesus. Imagine if the accident happened while original poster was in the car with her. Would they all be acting high and mighty? No one spoke it into existence. She brought about her accident on her own with her recklessness, and thank goodness, it wasn't worse than a few fractures. She could have killed someone or herself. Op, you are not the butthole. That said, can you speak me a pay hike into existence? Last year, I had an organic chemistry professor that I didn't like and I wanted to switch out to a different class, but none of the other classes had any openings left. My friend and I were talking about how we wish we magically got a different professor. What do you know? The next class we find out that our professor got into a motorcycle accident, he was fine, and we got a different professor we wanted for the rest of the semester. Does that mean that we doomed him? Do we have superpowers? Obviously your handlers, listening in, took your wish as code for this as the target. Possession of nuclear codes confirmed. Execute with extreme prejudice. It doesn't take superpowers, it only takes espionage and teamwork. User Spy Mustachio. Reddit link. The coworker, like a lot of bad drivers, would rather believe divine intervention caused the accident and it wasn't just them being a bad driver. Hey Op, can you speak me winning the lotto without ever playing into existence? Now a lot of my coworkers are blaming me for speaking it into existence. Your response to those coworkers should be, do you think if I had the power to speak things into existence, that I'd be working here and not lying on the beach of my private island? How about this: tonight I'm going to win the lottery. You think I'm going to walk into work tomorrow a multimillionaire? Original poster replies, I actually did say something like that, and then a response was basically, it doesn't work that way. Then maybe you should look at them with an eerie dead calm look on your face and say, well, then I guess you know not to get on my bad side. Smiley face, just kidding. Sort of. Do this, original poster. I second this. Make some mystic gestures and declare that a lost cow will fall off the roof of corporate HQ and land on one of them, breaking their shoulder 2 weeks before the corporate softball game, and as a result, they will be ineligible for the Starbucks gift card awarded to the winning team. This prophecy is so weirdly specific to office culture that it's absolutely perfect. I love it. Seems like something Michael would say to Toby. Haha, but it would probably involve a mysterious watermelon falling from the roof. If I could speak things into existence, it would be coworkers who aren't morons. I'm glad she didn't crash the car with you in it. You're right. The way it works is similar to a coin toss. You flip a coin a few times, you may only get heads or only tails. But sooner or later, the coin toss will go the other way. Peggy engaged in a number of unsafe driving behaviors that I personally observed. The more unsafe driving she engaged in, the more likely she was to get into a car accident whether or not I said anything. People like this guess a coin toss correctly a few times and think what's going on is they have some psychic/otherworldly power they can tap into occasionally, and if they could only learn to control it they could use it to their benefit. and all for only 4 easy payments of $19.95. Sounds like some of your coworkers subscribe to the secret nonsense. This is actually popular. My mother believes in that, but I thought that she was one out of very few. Unfortunately, it's a thing. It used to be huge years ago in Latin America. We are European, so it's probably not part of the Latin American trend, but it might have leaked here, I don't know. She started really believing in it fairly recently, though she has said similar stuff for decades. I meant that it has probably been a global thing, as it didn't originate in Latin America anyway. If your colleagues don't see correlation between reckless driving and probability of an accident, I'll wonder how does the rest of their lives look, or how are they capable of making judgments one would expect from legal adults. What they believe in is basically the evil eye, which some people can curse you without any rituals or whatnot, just by saying out loud what everybody else is thinking, or in some cases even by praising the person and stealing their good fortune. It's weird in my opinion, but in my experience it's nearly impossible to dissuade the evil eye believers that it's bullcrap. Yeah, it's superstition, basically, like walking under ladders and whatnot. It's cultural, but it can be considered rude. But even then, it would apply to saying something like I hope you get in an accident, not if you keep driving like a butthole you're going to get into trouble. Not the butthole. A few months later? A few months later? These people are weird. Seriously, how did they even remember that a few months later? If it had been a few days later I would think he was a wizard, but months? She might have remembered and reminded them to blame someone other than herself. This is the answer. This. Not the butthole. You can't actually speak things into existence like that or you'd have superpowers, but everyone gets into a car accident at some point. Many people are involved in accidents. Not all cause accidents. Coworkers, Peggy drives badly. Get in the car, original poster. Op, gets in car. Peggy, drives badly. OP, hey Peggy, stop driving badly, that causes accidents. Peggy, continues to drive badly, months later has accident. Coworkers, Op is a witch. We see no other explanation for this accident. Not the butthole. But does original poster weight the same as a duck? He turned me into a newt. He's made of wood. Am I the only one that thinks the coworkers are TA for encouraging original poster to get into a car with someone they knew is a dangerous driver, just to see how original poster would react? Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.